Imagine looking in the mirror and thinking, why does my waist look so wide now? Why does my stomach seem to push forward, even when I haven't gained that much weight? But what if body fat isn't the whole story? Your posture, the way you hold your pelvis, weak abdominal muscles, and even temporary bloating can all influence how your midsection looks. Sometimes, the waist can appear wider simply because the body isn't being held in its strongest, most natural position. And that's especially important as we get older. Years of sitting, less physical activity, weaker core muscles, and changes in body composition can gradually affect the way we stand and move. Your shoulders may round forward, your lower back may arch more than it used to, and your abdomen can appear to push outward. Now, before we go any further, let's clear up one important misconception. You may have heard that certain exercises can shrink or reduce a wide rib cage. That's not how the adult skeleton works. Your rib cage is largely made of bone, and you cannot simply reshape or shrink those bones with a 7-day exercise routine. But, and this is where things get interesting, you can change some of the factors that affect how your waist looks and feels. Better posture can make your torso look more upright. Stronger core muscles can help you control and stabilize your abdomen. Strengthening your glutes and improving pelvic control can change the way your body is positioned. And if bloating is contributing to a temporarily larger waistline, improving your eating and movement habits may help reduce that distension. So what can realistically happen in 7 days? You may notice that you're standing taller. You may feel more aware of your abdominal muscles. Your core may feel more stable when you walk, bend, or get up from a chair. You may feel less bloated if you improve your meal timing, food choices, hydration, and daily movement. And when you put all of these things together, your waist may appear a little more defined. But I want you to have realistic expectations. 7 days is not enough time to dramatically burn away belly fat. It is certainly not enough time to reshape your rib cage. And anyone promising a completely different body in 1 week is selling you a fantasy, not a sustainable solution. The real goal is to use these 7 days as a starting point. Instead of fighting your natural body structure or trying to force your rib cage to become smaller, we're going to work with your body. We're going to focus on the things you can actually influence: your posture, your core strength, your movement, and the habits that can affect bloating and body composition. And the best part? You don't need a gym, expensive equipment, or hundreds of painful crunches to get started. In just a few minutes a day, you can begin teaching your body to stand stronger, move better, and support your waist more effectively. So, let's look at what's actually making your waist appear wider, and then I'll show you the simple 7-day strategy you can do right at home. Before we talk about the exercises that can help, we need to understand something important. If your waist looks wider than it used to, it may not be caused by just one thing. For many people, especially after 40 or 50, several small changes happen at the same time. A little more abdominal fat, less daily movement, weaker core muscles, changes in posture, and sometimes more bloating than you experienced when you were younger. Let's break these down one by one. Problem cardinalum: excess abdominal fat. First, we have abdominal fat. Not all belly fat is the same. The fat you can pinch between your fingers is called subcutaneous fat. It sits underneath the skin. But deeper inside your abdomen is visceral fat. This fat surrounds internal organs and is more strongly associated with metabolic health problems when present in excess. This is one reason waist management is about more than simply looking slimmer in a mirror. But here's something important. You cannot expect 7 days of exercises to suddenly eliminate years of accumulated abdominal fat. Fat loss generally requires consistent habits over time, appropriate food intake, regular physical activity, adequate protein and fiber, good sleep, and an overall energy balance that supports gradual weight loss when weight loss is appropriate. So don't measure your success by asking, "Did I lose all my belly fat this week?" Instead, ask, "Did I start building the habits that can reduce it over the coming weeks and months?" That is a much more realistic and much more powerful question. Problème inquiété pour posture. Now let's talk about something that can change the appearance of your waist much faster. Posture. Think about how you sit during the day. Your head moves forward, your shoulders round, your chest drops, your pelvis may tilt, and your lower back may become excessively arched. After years of sitting, working at a desk, watching television, or spending less time moving, these positions can become your normal posture. And when your rib cage, pelvis, and spine aren't well aligned, your abdomen may appear to push forward. This doesn't necessarily mean you've suddenly gained a huge amount of belly fat. Sometimes, you're simply looking at a body that isn't being supported in its strongest position. Stand up for a moment and imagine the difference between standing tall with your shoulders relaxed and your pelvis neutral versus slouching forward with your lower back excessively arched. Your body hasn't changed in 30 seconds, but your silhouette can change. That's why posture will be an important part of the routine we're about to build. Problem #3. A weak or poorly coordinated core. The third issue is your core. And when I say core, I don't mean you need six-pack abs. Your core includes several muscles that help stabilize your spine and control your trunk. One of them is the transverse abdominis, a deeper abdominal muscle that contributes to trunk stability. As we age, if we don't regularly challenge these muscles, we can lose strength and coordination. And this is why doing hundreds of fast crunches isn't necessarily the answer. The goal isn't to exhaust your abs. The goal is to teach your core to stabilize your body while you breathe, walk, bend, reach, and move. That type of control can be much more useful in everyday life. Problem #4. Bloating and digestive distension. Now, here's a factor that many people overlook. Bloating. Your waist measurement can temporarily change throughout the day. A large meal can make your abdomen look more prominent. Eating a lot of salty food can contribute to temporary water retention. Carbonated beverages can increase the feeling of abdominal fullness. Certain foods may produce more gas in some people. And constipation can also make the abdomen feel and look distended. But there's an important distinction here. Reducing bloating is not the same thing as losing body fat. If your stomach looks flatter one morning because you had a lighter dinner and less digestive distension, that doesn't mean you burned a pound of belly fat overnight. And that's okay. A flatter-looking abdomen can come from several different changes, and understanding the difference prevents you from falling for unrealistic fitness claims. Problem #5. Believing you can spot reduce belly fat. Finally, we need to talk about one of the biggest fitness myths. You cannot choose exactly where your body burns fat simply by exercising that body part. Doing abdominal exercises can strengthen and develop your abdominal muscles. But doing 200 crunches doesn't tell your body, burn the fat from my stomach first. Your body determines where stored fat comes from based on genetics, hormones, energy balance, and other factors. So our strategy isn't going to be endless abdominal exercises. We're going to strengthen the core, improve posture, increase daily movement, and support healthy habits that can contribute to overall fat loss over time. That's a much more realistic approach. And it brings us to a very common situation. Imagine someone in their 50s or 60s who has gained a little abdominal fat over the years. They sit for several hours every day. Their shoulders have gradually rounded forward. Their core isn't as strong as it once was. And after a large dinner, they often feel noticeably bloated. When they look in the mirror, they may think, my rib cage has become huge. My waist is getting wider. But the reality may be more complicated. It could be a combination of body fat, posture, muscle weakness, and temporary abdominal distension. And that is actually good news, because while you can't simply shrink your adult rib bones, you can work on many of the other factors. That's exactly what we're going to do next. We're going to use a simple at-home routine to improve core control, strengthen the muscles supporting your posture, and help you move with more stability without punishing your body. Now that you understand why your waist can look wider, let's get into the practical part. For the next 7 days, we're going to focus on 3 things. First, posture. Second, core strength and control. Third, reducing temporary abdominal distension when possible. And there's one more thing I want you to remember. This routine is not designed to magically melt belly fat in 7 days. Sustainable fat loss takes longer. But 7 days can be enough to start improving how your body moves, how you hold yourself, and how your midsection feels. Let's begin. Exercise Hasson, diaphragmatic breathing with a gentle core brace. Start by lying comfortably on your back with your knees bent. If getting down onto the floor is uncomfortable, simply sit upright in a sturdy chair. Place one hand around your lower ribs or abdomen. Now take a slow, comfortable breath in. Allow your abdomen and the sides of your rib cage to expand naturally. Then slowly breathe out. As you exhale, gently draw your lower abdominal muscles inward, as if you're lightly tightening your stomach to prepare for a movement. But don't suck your stomach in as hard as possible. And don't hold your breath. The goal is controlled breathing with gentle abdominal engagement. Try several slow breaths. This simple movement helps you become more aware of your breathing and abdominal control, while gently challenging the muscles that help stabilize your trunk. And for many older adults, that's a much better starting point than immediately jumping into intense abdominal exercises. If you're sitting, keep both feet comfortably on the floor. Sit tall, relax your shoulders, and perform the same breathing pattern. Exercise. #2 Standing Wall Posture Reset. Now stand up and find a wall. Place yourself close enough that your back can gently approach the wall without forcing yourself into an uncomfortable position. Keep your feet comfortable and your knees slightly relaxed. Let your shoulders settle naturally. Bring your head into a comfortable upright position, and allow your pelvis to stay in a neutral position. Here's the important part. Don't try to flatten your entire back against the wall. You don't need to force your spine into an unnatural position. Instead, think about standing tall without tension. Take a slow breath. Relax your shoulders. Keep your abdominal muscles gently engaged. Hold this position for several comfortable breaths, then relax. You may notice something interesting. Your body hasn't lost a single pound. Your rib cage hasn't changed shape. But your posture can immediately make your torso look more upright and organized. That is one reason posture matters so much when we're talking about the appearance of the waist. Exercise #3. Beginner Dead Bug. Now we're going to challenge your core a little more. Lie on your back with your knees bent. If the traditional dead bug feels too difficult, don't worry. We're using a beginner version. Keep your movements slow and controlled. Start by lifting one leg or moving one arm at a time while keeping your trunk stable. Your goal isn't to move as far as possible. Your goal is to prevent your torso from moving unnecessarily while your limbs move. Think slow movement, steady breathing, controlled abdomen. If moving the legs feels uncomfortable, keep both feet on the floor and move only one arm at a time. As you become stronger, you can gradually increase the challenge. This exercise teaches your core to stabilize your body while your arms and legs are moving, which is much closer to how your core works during everyday activities. Exercise #4 Bird Dog. Next, come onto your hands and knees. If your wrists are uncomfortable, you can place your hands on a stable, elevated surface and modify the exercise. From this position, gently extend one arm and the opposite leg. You don't need to lift them extremely high. In fact, a smaller movement with good control is often better than a large movement that causes your hips to twist. Pause briefly, then return slowly. Switch sides. Again, don't rush. Keep your hips as steady as possible and continue breathing naturally. If balancing one arm and one leg at the same time feels difficult, start with just one arm. Then try just one leg. Build control first. The purpose here is not to burn as many calories as possible. It's to improve core stability, balance, coordination, and control. And those qualities become increasingly valuable as we get older. Exercise #6. Standing side knee drive. Now let's move to a standing exercise. Stand tall next to a sturdy chair or countertop. Use it for support if you need it. Keep your chest comfortably upright. Now slowly bring one knee upward and slightly toward the side. Return the foot to the floor, then switch sides. You don't need to lift the knee very high. And you don't need to move quickly. Focus on maintaining control through your torso. You should feel your abdominal muscles working to help stabilize your body. This is particularly useful for people who don't want to spend their entire workout lying on the floor. It also introduces balance and controlled lateral movement into the routine. If you're unsteady, keep one hand on the chair throughout the exercise. Safety comes before intensity. Exercise #7. Take a gentle walk after meals. Finally, we're adding something incredibly simple: walking. After a meal, when appropriate for you, take a comfortable walk. It doesn't need to be a power walk. You don't need to race. Just move at a pace that feels safe and sustainable. Even short bouts of walking can contribute to your overall daily activity, and walking after meals can also support healthier post-meal blood glucose responses. But don't misunderstand the goal. We're not saying that a 10-minute walk will magically burn away your belly fat. It won't. The benefit comes from making movement a regular part of your lifestyle. And that's exactly what we're trying to build during these 7 days. You're teaching your body to move more, stabilize better, and spend less time completely sedentary. And when you combine that with sensible nutrition, adequate sleep, and consistent activity over the weeks ahead, you have a much stronger foundation for improving your waistline and overall health. So don't think of these 7 days as a miracle transformation. Think of them as 7 days of practice. Practice standing taller. Practice controlling your core. Practice moving your body. Practice making better choices. Because the goal isn't simply to look different for 1 week. The goal is to become stronger and more capable, and let the changes in your waist follow naturally from those habits. 7-day routine. What to do each day. Now you have the exercises. But here's the mistake many people make. They try to do everything on the first day, push themselves too hard, become sore, and then quit. We're going to do the opposite. For the next 7 days, we're going to gradually build the routine so your body has time to adapt. And remember, the goal isn't to punish your abdomen. The goal is to improve control, posture, movement, and consistency. Day 1, awareness. On the first day, keep things simple. Begin with your diaphragmatic breathing and gentle core brace. Then perform the standing wall posture reset. That's it. Pay attention to how you stand, how you breathe, and how your abdomen feels when you're relaxed compared with when you gently engage your core. Don't worry about burning calories today. Today is about awareness. You're learning how your body is positioned before you start asking it to work harder. Day 2, core control. On day 2, keep the breathing and posture work. Then introduce the beginner dead bug. Move slowly. Don't worry about doing a large number of repetitions. Your goal is to keep your trunk controlled while your arms or legs move. If you feel your lower back lifting excessively or you lose control of the movement, make the exercise easier. Remember, quality comes before quantity. Day 3, stability. Now we're going to add the bird dog. Practice extending the opposite arm and leg while keeping your hips as stable as possible. If that's too difficult, start with only one arm or one leg. Then add your comfortable walk for the day. It doesn't need to be long or intense. You're simply giving your body another opportunity to move. By day 3, you may begin noticing something that has nothing to do with the scale. You may feel more aware of your posture. You may feel your core working during everyday movements. That's progress. Day 4, glutes and posture. On day 4, add the glute bridge. Remember to lift through the hips without aggressively arching your lower back. Continue the posture reset and core exercises. And throughout the day, check how you're standing. Are your shoulders constantly rounded? Are you pushing your abdomen forward? Are you standing with your lower back excessively arched? You don't need to force yourself into a perfect position. Simply becoming more aware of your alignment can be valuable. Day 5, full routine. By day 5, you can begin combining the exercises. Breathing, posture reset, dead bug variation, bird dog, glute bridge, standing side knee drive, and your regular walking. Keep the intensity moderate. You should finish feeling like you exercised, not like you were hit by a truck. Especially if you're over 45 or haven't exercised consistently, there's no prize for making the routine unnecessarily difficult. The person who can repeat a manageable routine is far more likely to see results than the person who destroys themselves for 2 days and quits. Day 6, movement day. Day 6 is about consistency. Continue the core routine, but place extra attention on your daily movement. Take your walks. Break up long periods of sitting. Stand up regularly. Move around your home. And don't make the mistake of thinking that more abdominal exercises automatically mean a smaller waist. Your core muscles also need recovery. More isn't always better. Better movement, performed consistently, is the goal. Day 7. Check your progress. Now you've reached day 7. This is where I want you to pause and evaluate, not obsess. Look at your posture. Do you naturally stand a little taller? How does your waist feel? How do your clothes fit? Have you noticed any change in bloating? Does your core feel more controlled when you move? If you want to measure your waist, do it under similar conditions to your starting measurement, ideally at the same time of day and in similar clothing. And please, don't judge the entire week by the bathroom scale. Your body weight can fluctuate because of water, food, digestion, and other normal factors. A scale cannot tell you everything about improved posture, better movement, stronger muscles, or reduced bloating. And here's the most important part. Don't stop simply because day 7 is over. 7 days was never supposed to be the finish line. It was the starting point. If you felt better, move into the next week and repeat the habits. If an exercise was too difficult, modify it. If something caused pain, stop and reassess it. If you didn't see a dramatic visual transformation, don't assume the routine failed. Real changes in body composition take time. The people who make the biggest long-term improvements aren't necessarily the people who find the most extreme workout. They're usually the people who find something realistic enough to keep doing. So give yourself credit for completing the 7 days and then keep going. Tips: how to make your waist look better faster. Now let's talk about the small daily habits that can make this routine more effective. Because your exercises are only one part of the picture. What you do in the kitchen, how you eat, how much you move, and how you recover can all influence how your waist looks and how your body feels. And you don't need to make 800 changes overnight. Start with these simple ones. Tip Hasson: don't starve yourself. First, don't fall into the trap of thinking that eating as little as possible will give you a smaller waist faster. Extreme dieting can leave you tired, hungry, and more likely to abandon the plan. Instead, focus on balanced meals with appropriate portions. Include nutritious foods that help you stay satisfied, rather than trying to survive on tiny meals. Remember, the goal is not to become smaller at any cost. The goal is to become healthier while gradually improving body composition. Tip #2. Prioritize protein. Next, pay attention to protein. Include a reasonable protein source with your meals, such as eggs, fish, poultry, yogurt, beans, lentils, tofu, or another protein-rich food that fits your diet. Protein is especially important as we get older, because maintaining muscle becomes increasingly important. And more muscle doesn't just affect appearance, it supports strength, mobility, and everyday function. So instead of asking, how can I eat less and less? Ask, how can I make the food I eat more nutritious and satisfying? That's a much better long-term strategy. Tip #3. Slow down when you eat. Here's a surprisingly simple habit. Slow down. If you eat extremely quickly, it can be easier to consume more food before you recognize that you're comfortably full. Try putting your fork down occasionally. Take your time chewing. Pay attention to how your body feels. You don't need to make every meal a meditation session. Just give yourself enough time to notice when you've had enough. This can make portion control feel much more natural. Tip #4. Pay attention to evening bloating triggers. If your stomach looks significantly larger at night than it does in the morning, don't immediately assume you've gained belly fat during the day. Look at what you're eating and drinking. Large, late-night meals can leave you feeling overly full. Very salty foods can contribute to temporary fluid retention. Carbonated beverages may increase feelings of abdominal fullness for some people, and certain foods can cause gas or digestive discomfort, depending on the individual. The key word here is individual. You don't need to eliminate every food that appears on an internet bloating list. Instead, pay attention to your own patterns. If you consistently notice discomfort after a particular food, that's useful information to discuss with a qualified healthcare professional if the problem persists. IP-5. Stay properly hydrated. Don't be afraid of water. Adequate hydration supports normal body functions and is an important part of a healthy lifestyle. But let's clear up another internet myth. Drinking enormous amounts of water does not magically flush belly fat away. You cannot drink your way to a smaller waist overnight. Drink according to your body's needs and your healthcare professional's advice. especially if you have a medical condition that requires fluid restrictions. Think of hydration as supporting your health, not as a fat-burning shortcut. Tip #6. Don't train your abs every hour. More is not always better. You don't need to perform abdominal exercises every hour of the day. Your muscles need time to recover, and your core is already working during many movements throughout the day: walking, standing, lifting, reaching, and changing positions. Give your body a reasonable training stimulus, then allow it to recover. A consistent routine that you can repeat is far more useful than an extreme workout that leaves you exhausted and unable to exercise for several days. Tip #7. Measure your waist correctly. If you're tracking your waist, consistency matters. Measure under similar conditions each time. Try to use the same time of day, wear similar clothing, or measure over the same type of clothing each time. And don't compare a measurement taken first thing in the morning with one taken immediately after a large dinner. Your waist naturally changes throughout the day. Food, fluids, digestion, and bloating can all affect the number. So don't panic over a small day-to-day fluctuation. Look at the trend over time. Tip #8. Know when something isn't just belly fat. Finally, don't automatically blame every change in your abdomen on weight gain. Persistent or unexplained abdominal swelling deserves attention. And if you experience severe abdominal pain, sudden unexplained changes, persistent digestive symptoms, or swelling that doesn't go away, don't simply start doing more ab exercises and hope it disappears. Talk to a qualified healthcare professional. This is especially important as we get older because not every change in abdominal appearance is related to body fat. And that's an important message I want you to remember. Your body is giving you information. Listen to it. Don't punish it. Don't starve it. And don't assume every problem can be fixed with another workout. The smartest approach is to combine sensible nutrition, regular movement, strength training, recovery, and awareness of what's normal for your body. That is how you move from chasing a temporary flat stomach toward building a stronger, healthier body that can serve you for years to come. Day 6. Movement Day. Day 6 is about consistency. Continue the core routine, but place extra attention on your daily movement. Take your walks. Break up long periods of sitting. Stand up regularly. Move around your home. And don't make the mistake of thinking that more abdominal exercises automatically mean a smaller waist. Your core muscles also need recovery. More isn't always better. Better movement, performed consistently, is the goal. Day 7. Check your progress. Now you've reached day 7. This is where I want you to pause and evaluate, not obsess. Look at your posture. Do you naturally stand a little taller? How does your waist feel? How do your clothes fit? Have you noticed any change in bloating? Does your core feel more controlled when you move? If you want to measure your waist, do it under similar conditions to your starting measurement, ideally at the same time of day and in similar clothing. And please, don't judge the entire week by the bathroom scale. Your body weight can fluctuate because of water, food, digestion, and other normal factors. A scale cannot tell you everything about improved posture, better movement, stronger muscles, or reduced bloating. And here's the most important part. Don't stop simply because day 7 is over. 7 days was never supposed to be the finish line. It was the starting point. If you felt better, move into the next week and repeat the habits. If an exercise was too difficult, modify it. If something caused pain, stop and reassess it. If you didn't see a dramatic visual transformation, don't assume the routine failed. Real changes in body composition take time. The people who make the biggest long-term improvements aren't necessarily the people who find the most extreme workout. They're usually the people who find something realistic enough to keep doing. So give yourself credit for completing the 7 days and then keep going. Your rib cage isn't the enemy. So let's bring everything together. If your waist looks wider than it used to, don't immediately assume that your rib cage has somehow become the problem. Your adult rib cage isn't something you can simply shrink with an exercise. But there are plenty of things you can work on. You can improve your posture. You can strengthen and better control your core. You can build stronger glutes and improve the way your pelvis and trunk work together. You can move more throughout the day. You can identify habits that may be contributing to unnecessary bloating. And if you have excess body fat, You can gradually work toward reducing it through consistent nutrition and physical activity. That's the real strategy. Now, I want you to give this routine 7 consecutive days. Not because 7 days is some magical deadline, but because 7 days gives you an opportunity to prove something to yourself. You can be consistent. You may notice that you stand a little taller. You may feel more stable when you move. Your core may feel more engaged. Your clothes may feel slightly different. Or perhaps you'll simply notice less bloating. And that's okay. Your progress doesn't have to be dramatic to be real. Don't become discouraged if you don't wake up on day 7 with a completely different body. Real changes in body composition take time. The most important thing is that you've started building habits you can continue. And especially if you're over 45, remember this. You don't need to punish your body to feel stronger and more confident in it. You don't need hundreds of painful crunches. You don't need an extreme diet. And you don't need to fight the natural structure of your body. You need a routine that respects your body and that you can actually keep doing. So here's your challenge. If you're committing to these 7 days, type 7 days in the comments. And tell me which exercise felt easiest for you. The breathing exercise, wall posture, reset, dead bug, bird dog, glute bridge, side knee drive, or walking. Your answer may help someone else choose where to begin. And if you found this video useful, subscribe for more practical at-home fitness and healthy aging strategies designed to help you become stronger, more mobile, and more confident at any age. Then come back after 7 days and check your progress. Look at your posture. Notice how your clothes fit. Think about your core control. Pay attention to your movement and how your body feels. Don't chase a smaller rib cage. Build a stronger body. Stand taller. Move better. And let your waist show the difference. I'll see you in the next video.